let's see our next asana, Utkatasana or chair pose, which require the stability of our thighs, especially the stability of our knees and the mobility of our ankles. So let's see how we're going to get into the asana. So we're maintaining the Tadasana position. So again, those have a knee knock. They're going to make a small space to keeping the feet apart, but those are fine. No any space on the knees or not a knocking or not wide. So we're going to keep our feet closer. So let's see, now we're going to adjust the feet the same way as we did in Tadasana, keeping the heels a slightly apart, like half inch or 1 inch space, the maintaining there. Yeah, pressing the ball of a big toe, the metatarsal, fingers soften, and keeping the weight nicely on your feet and keeping the back straight. So let's get into the Utkatasana from the Urdhva Hastasana. So from here, as we inhale, we take the arms up, rolling the upper arms out and get into the Urdhva Hastasana position. So just keep your hands apart. You can keep the hands apart and gaze front in front of you. Just keep the chin front, neck straight and look front. So trying to stretch the triceps nicely upward, make the extension from the triceps, which will allow us to go more deep into the Urdhva Hastasana or lifting the arms more higher. So pushing the elbows backward, but same time rolling the biceps inward. So try to roll the triceps forward and rolling the bicep forward. Extension from the lateral arms and to the fingertip. So from this in this position, maintaining that extension with inhalation. As we exhale, slowly, what you're going to do, we bend the knees and lower the buttocks down. So trying to pull the knees like back into the hip socket as much possible. So as we're pulling the knee, the femur bone deep into the hip socket, what happens tendency, we tilt the buttocks like forward, the anterior tilt. So see what happens when you make the anterior tilt, we get the arch on our spine. We'll try to avoid that arch, not to having that arch. We have already the arch here, so we'll try to make it straight as much possible. So try to move the buttocks a little bit down, but we are not also working on that posterior tilt of our posterior tilt in our hips. So we try to maintain the natural movement as much possible without tilting forward and without tilting backward. If you like a tilting backward this action, so it affect our breathing. We have like a less abdominal range while the breathing. Otherwise, we start to contracting the lower abdominal muscles as you're tilting the buttocks backward. So try to keep the buttocks in neutral position as much possible and pressing the feet but remain maintaining that action like pulling the knees like backward as much possible, pulling them deep into the hip socket. And as we pull them back, so we're going to work on the upper part of the body now. So lifting the floating ribs a little higher, like away from the thigh to rising from the sides of the body, pulling the ribs nicely into the body as much possible. Squeezing the knees and thighs together, chest up, and extension from the arms from the sides of the body and maintaining that upper arms like movement like Urdhva Hastasana, rolling the arms like inward, like upper arms rolling inward and pushing the hands backward as much possible. Work on the upper part of the body on your chest region so that we can have the straight back. But again and again, readjusting yourself like pulling the ribs a little bit in. Yeah, good? No? Inhale, pull the belly in, squeeze the knees and take the arms up, stretch higher. And then exhale, slowly come down, relax. Let's try the second way to getting a little bit more firmness on the leg for the Utkatasana as we require. So we take the brick. We're going to use the brick on the second label as we did in Tadasana, between the thigh. Adjust the brick, squeeze the brick a little harder. So same time, we can using the strap on our arms as we did in Urdhva Hastasana as well. So let's try here. So take the arms up in front of you and hook the strap on the upper arms, on the forearms, close to the elbow. So trying to maintain that movement here. So you can turn the palm facing backward completely here. That really doesn't matter. We are not going to put our palms together. That's totally fine. But yeah, you can have the complete movement from the shoulder. But yeah, in a final position, when you bring the palms together, we need like an internal rotation from internal movement from our elbow. But yeah, here you're not going to working on the Namaste position, so you're going to work on the shoulder. So you can turn the palm facing backwards, completely fine. So shoulders back, again belly in, chest up as much possible, squeezing the brick harder. And with inhalation, take the arms up in a Urdhva Hastasana. Again, try to pull the ribs a little bit inward. Again, readjust this part, especially on the upper part of the body. As we lower the body down, we arch on the upper back in order to opening the chest. So as we opening the chest, but make sure we are not collapsing the posterior vertebrae. So inhale, stretch up, longer arms, hands moving back, belly in, the upper belly and floating ribs into the body. As we exhale here, trying to bend the knee and shifting the weight a little bit backward towards the heels in this position. So as I'm pressing her toes, so by using my feet, I can allow us to help her to shifting her weight back towards the heel. Otherwise, the toes lift upward as shifting the weight backward. So I'm pressing her toes in this position so she can shift the weight a little bit back towards her heel. So, but again, I'm gonna readjust, check her back if she is doing correct or not. So I'll try to pull her ribs a little bit into the body. So by giving some directional touch, a little tapping movement on the ribs, so that she can pull her ribs a little bit inward, but pushing the buttocks deep back and down. For example, you're going to sit on the chair. So try to extend your sacrum spine as much possible here, so that we can have a straight back, belly moving in and pushing the hands upward and backward. Try to pull the floating ribs in and roll the top of the buttocks downward, like as you do in a like a Purvottanasana, as you do the in a tailbone down, like a little bit as you do in Samasthiti position, but without collapsing the abdominal region, the lower belly region. Otherwise, the breathing gonna be it gonna affect our breath. So keeping the buttocks a little down, back straight, and shifting the weight backward. Take a few breaths here. You're already done, and then slowly lift yourself up, back to center. Release your arms down. Relax. Let's try another way with the chair. So we have the chair here, the backrest of the chair, seat of the chair, front leg of the chair, back leg of the chair. So for the Utkatasana, we're going to use the seat of the chair. So I want you, Nikki, to please sit on the chair, just to have the idea like how we have performed the Utkatasana really. But yeah, see what happened, the way we adjust the feet like under the knees is like kind of impossible to practicing, because the gravitational force was pulling her lower. And what happened, if somebody have like a lot of pressure, they can shift the whole body weight completely on the toes, so maybe they can stay in this position as you are sitting now. But yeah, we're gonna pull the legs a little bit slightly backward, so that maybe we can try to lift our buttocks a little bit like off the chair by pressing the feet. But if we keep the toes like ankles directly under the knee, so it's gonna be a little difficult or like kind of impossible. Okay, or if somebody assisting us pressing the feet, maybe they can lift up. But we'll try. Let's see. Let's try. So first, try the way we practice usually. So you can place the hands on the hip and stay high, like in upright position, back straight, Nikki. Yeah, pressing the feet. Especially keep the brain on the front of the foot, where we have to shift the more weight. Pressing the big toes nicely and keeping the toes extended forward. Pressing the ball of a big toe. Knees like squeezing together. So now we take the hands in front of you, stretch your hands front, and you can keep your palm facing forward. But as you turn the palms, like trying to roll the upper arms, a little bit challenging, right? Roll the upper arms out as much possible. So maintaining that external rotation, so without disturbing the upper arm, see if we can without disturbing the arm, we can move the forearms inward, perfect, like that. So just stretch your thumb away from the index finger and bring the hands a little closer, and you can hook your fingers in this position. Yeah, fingers, you can stretch your fingers out. But again, trying to roll the upper arms a little bit outward. So once you hook your thumb, so it's okay, it's fine if you have the lateral movement, but trying to work on the upper arms as much possible. So with inhalation, just take the arms up and push the hands like a little far back away from the ear as much possible, elbow straight. And stretching upward, keep the fingers separate as much you can. So now what you're going to do here is squeezing the legs inward. So trying to keep the back straight in this position. And just again to have bring the tension a little bit down to the abdominal region, especially the upper part of the thoracic region. Try to push the floating ribs a little inward, yes, and same time lift the upper part of the chest a little bit higher, like expanding upward direction and pushing the hands backward, but without losing the extension for our tricep, without losing the extension for our inner arms and shoulder backward and away from the ear. Just stay there for a bit, stretching the hands upward. Now, for example, we're going to shift our whole weight on our front of the feet. So, you're pressing the front of the feet strongly. I'm going to help her to lift her buttocks off the chair. So, or she can try by herself, but I would like to help a little bit in this position. So, I'm pressing her feet on the top of the feet, which will help her to make her front of the feet more heavier. So I'm pressing her feet, and with the inhalation she'll try to like not to pushing forward, just like extending upward as much possible and lifting the buttocks a little bit higher of the break of the chair as much possible. Perfect. So again, belly a little bit in and push the hands further backward behind the neck as much you can. Just squeezing the knees and thighs harder. Take a few breaths in this position. Stretch up. And then exhale, slowly lower the buttocks down, back to the chair, lean backward and release the arms. Relax. You okay? So let's try one more time Utkatasana with the chair. So we can keep our thigh a little parallel to the like a seat of the chair as we have to achieving the final state. So we're going to use the blanket for that. So see, we can fold a blanket like that. This is one of the way, like get a little bit like a thickness underneath the heel, little height, like about 4, 5, 6 inches. Or the second way, what we can do, we can like roll the blanket nicely, fold it or roll it any way which is comfortable for you. So as we roll it, and we can have like a little bit more height. So what you're going to do, I place the blanket here. So what you're going to do here, you're going to rest the heels, like go back a little bit and rest the heels on the blanket. Now here, so heels resting on the blanket and feet together, make a same like a Tadasana action as we have been performing. Knees, thighs tight, and with the inhalation, you take the arms up over the head. Just stretch your arms up and elbows moving backward. So here, let's try the other way. Now what you're going to do, you can just fold the arms like a Baddha Hasta, the bound. So hook the elbows and push the elbows a little bit backward. So it's a little bit more intensive way as we bend the elbows, maybe more difficult to open the shoulders more backward direction. So squeezing the knees and thighs together, and with inhalation stretch, raise the chest higher and pushing the elbows like behind, away from the ear as much possible. Inhale, and trying to same time lifting upward from the side. As we exhale, bend the knees and lower the hip, back and downward movement, back and downward, pulling the knees back and down, back and down, back and down as much possible. Perfect. Yeah, keep pushing, lifting the forearms like away from the head, trying to make the space as much possible, and pushing the elbows slightly backward, and again readjusting your back. Perfect, like that, pulling the ribs in, buttocks slightly down so that we can make a little extension in the back, and keeping the knees tight, is pulling backward and squeezing the thighs, rolling like internally in this position. Pressing the inner arch of the feet, metatarsal strongly on the floor, pressing the big toes and shifting the weight back towards the heel so that we can have that little bit like parallel movement like the seat of the chair, and pushing the buttocks like back and downward movement as much possible. Take a couple of breaths in this position and then slowly lift yourself up with inhalation and then release your arms. So let's try with the chair pose the same way, but this time with the brick. We can use the brick with the support of the chair without blanket and as well with the blanket. So same time, for the people, yeah, those are having the like a knee knock, they're gonna make the small space to a little space so we can stabilize our leg. But the people, those are having like the bony knees goes like apart, like away from each other. So for them is more beneficial, especially for them to using the brick. So it helps them to like pressing that the root, like which is the root of that overgrowth or that separation of the knee, which is our feet, the inner edge of the feet. So we pressing that inner edge of the feet is strongly, so that pushing the knees inward, which help them to bring the knees like a neutral position, like to the center. Otherwise, knees all the time moving out, especially those are people having the bony knees goes out. So when you use the brick, they give the little bit more, they get develop the more awareness on that inner side of the feet, that they have to push the knees inward and squeezing the knee inward or pressing the inner edge of the feet strongly will be more beneficial for them. So adjust the brick between your thigh, second level, and squeezing the legs, brick strongly, and same time trying to roll the thighs a little bit inward in this position. Now take the arms up with inhalation, Urdhva Hastasana, stretching the arms up, rolling the tailbone in, and then exhale, slowly bend your knees, move your buttocks back and down. So as we're going back, trying to lean backward as much possible. Perfect, like that. Yeah, shifting the weight a little back to the heel so that we can have the parallel thigh as much possible according to the stability of our knees, according to the mobility of our ankle. So yeah, here trying to again and again working on the rotation of the thigh, like squeezing that action here and pressing the metatarsal big toe strongly on the floor, and belly a little bit in, tailbone down, straight back, and try to keep the chest a little bit higher, like away from the thigh. Make the space here between the knee and the chest as much possible, like lifting upward and the same time the buttocks rolling downward. Stretching the arms, rolling the bicep in, pushing the elbows and forearms, wrist backward behind the ear as much possible, and try to make the back straight as much you can. So trying to shifting the more weight on the heel as much possible and stretching higher and rolling the buttocks down. Take a few breaths in this position, and then slowly with inhalation back to center, and exhale, lower the arms down. You can release the brick now. Relax. Let's try the Utkatasana again with support of the wall so we can find the straight back. So first of all, I take my back against the wall. First, I fix my back nicely and rolling my buttocks like down, like posterior tilt, pressing the lower spine against the wall. Keep the whole back connected to the wall, the posterior body. I have the brick. I'm going to use the brick again to squeezing my leg together, which will help me to give the firmness. Now I'm going to keep my feet like little away from the wall to find that like the seat of the chair, to move my body, my thighs like parallel to the floor. Yeah, which is become easier because we have the wall, but all, as well as like require the thighs strength, more knees strength. So I pressing my back and keep rolling my buttocks down. I keep my feet like more than the 1 feet, a length at least of our femur bone, right? Which is quite long, like more than 1 feet, like 1.5 feet. So the way on the way down, I will readjusting my feet again and again. So I roll the buttocks down, pressing my lower back strongly against the wall. I have the brick. I squeeze the brick between my thigh. Now, slowly in this position, I place my hands on the hip. So I'm using my core strength, like pressing my lower spine against the wall, and then slowly move down, 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 down. And I keep my back in contact with the wall. Now, again, I check my feet, adjust my feet nicely. Squeezing the leg strongly, thighs, knees rolling inward in this position, pressing the lower spine strongly on the wall. Pressing the shoulder blade against the wall, your lower back, and then I take the arms up for the Utkatasana, like a raised arm pose, like a Urdhva action. So pressing the lower spine, pulling the belly in, and taking the arms high up and neck straight in this position. So by using the wall, we can hold a chair pose a little bit longer, and also we can make our thighs parallel to the floor as we're using the wall. So here we're using our core muscles to pulling the back in or pressing the lower spine against the wall, and we can have the straight back and the flat thigh like parallel to the floor by using the wall support. Arms stretching upward, working on the extension of the spine, extension of our arms, neck straight and look front. Just stay there for a bit, hands up, or maybe hands place the hands on the waistline. As we release the posture, slowly press the feet and drag yourself up back to the starting position. And then slowly release the posture, relax.